Hello, this is Sue for PMTV at Birds and Bees Resort and Cabbages and Condoms restaurant. The name alone will make one curious about the place. From the surrounding, you would think that I'm in a tropical rainforest with a spectacular ocean view. Well, I am. The tranquil environment makes for an idyllic hideaway for travelers and residents of Thailand alike. The complete facilities of the resort are set in a lush tropical garden, overflowing with orchids and other native flowers, with ponds and streams that provide a natural sanctuary for birds and bees, rabbits and local fauna. Both the restaurant and resort were created to provide financial support for the Population and Community Development Association or PDA, Thailand's foremost non-governmental charitable organization. Money spent at this resort contributes to Thailand's rural development, education and scholarships, HIV/AIDS education and environmental protection. PDA is renowned for its life-saving innovation in HIV prevention and family planning. Mechai Viravaidhya has done so much good work to avert an HIV catastrophe among the rural poor in Thailand that his name is now synonymous with prevention, literally. Many locals don't use the word condom anymore. Instead, they're called Mechais. Among the many awards in the past, last year in 2007, the PDA received the Gates Global Health Program Award for its outstanding family planning and HIV/AIDS prevention works. And in 2008, a Skoll Award for its Social Entrepreneurship Program. And so today we are visiting the founder of this association to find out more about their activities. I'm now sitting with Mechai Viravaidhya, the founder and chairman of the PDA. Swadika. First of all, for the benefit of some of our viewers who don't know your name or the PDA, would you please tell us a little bit of your own personal background and also what inspired you to set up this association?
Well, firstly, I've been coming down to Pattaya for about 61 years. So I think there are very, very few people who've been in Pattaya longer than me. My father brought me and then other members of the family down, and we've been doing it ever since. And PDA was started because we needed to get contraceptives and information out to the people, mostly in rural areas. And in fact, the first area we started off 35 years ago was Banglamung, before it became a city of Pattaya. Pattaya was just a little village. So Banglamung was the district. So another coincidence, we started our first work here in all the villages inside Pattaya. Chonburi, and which is Banglamung. But the important thing is that we were able to start and got ordinary people, usually shopkeepers, to explain about family planning to people and supply contraceptives. And this started here and went throughout the country, and what it did was to make contraceptives available to people all the time rather than having to go to doctors. And so this was then expanded to cover about 18,000 villages, and then the Ministry of Health came in and expanded to cover all the villages in Thailand. So we were the pioneers in making sure that contraceptives were available to women in the villages. Now, what happened in terms of statistics? When we began, we had 7 children per family, per woman. And after about 25 years, that was reduced from 7 children to 1.2 children, and the population growth rate came down from 3.3%, which is very, very high, down to 0.5. So that was done. Ours has been very much what we call a non-clinical distribution of contraceptives, but at the same time there's some clinical work that the people needed and where the government could not supply, or the government stopped supplying it, and so we help. So we have a clinic that helps to provide family planning education, contraceptive, and for those who need contraceptives, sexually transmitted disease explanation and treatment. And for those who have had problems with an unwanted pregnancy, if it's within the law of Section 3 or 5, then we are quite happy to help. If it's not, then we regret it. So we've been going on for 35 years. But our work is not just in family planning. That was our start. We've gone from family planning to many other things. For instance, we're involved in education. We are involved in environmental protection, poverty alleviation, income generation, tree planting, emergency relief. So it's a whole series of activities. Basically, whatever the poor needs, we try to help them with that. So gender equality is a very, very important thing that we've been doing. So apart from family planning, we've been doing many other things. Now, closest to health has been HIV/AIDS. We were also involved in the middle 1980s, and it was the PDA method of doing things that was taken up by the government, and I was asked to join the cabinet, and was then popularized throughout the country. And the result again was interesting. The UN said that Thailand had been able to reduce its new cases of HIV by 90%, and the World Bank said that because of the very strong public education program in Thailand, 7.7 million Thais were prevented from being infected. So again, good results, and everybody helped. So our main goal is empowerment of the poor. We work with them, we get them to be very, very clearly involved in what we do. And so that whatever we do must try to solve the problem at its root cause rather than just at its consequence.
Your approach those days when you started was considered innovative and for some unorthodox, right? Because in those days, how was that?
Well, it was unorthodox in that, well, firstly successful, but unorthodox nevertheless, or some might say outside of the box. In all countries, including Thailand at the time, oral contraceptives have to be prescribed by a doctor. We had one doctor per 110,000 people. Impossible. So what did we do? Just say no or move on. So the first step was to train nurses to do it with a very clear checklist of, if you have these conditions such as yellow eyes, a heart condition, then don't take the pill. But apart from that, you can. So the nurses were very successful. The next step was into the midwives, and that covered only 20% of the villages. That was the end of the line. That's where we came in and said, well, we'll take it the other 80% by identifying and training people in the villages to understand and to accept family planning and to practice family planning. And the pills were available off prescription in the villages, in every village in Thailand.